The First Amendment is one of the most important parts of the U.S. Constitution because it protects the basic freedoms that define American democracy. Ratified in 1791, it was created to limit government power and protect individual rights. The First Amendment guarantees 5 freedoms: religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition. These freedoms were inspired by the American colonists' experience under the British rule, where speaking out against the government was often punished. Now, me personally, I think freedom of speech is single-handedly the most important part of this country. Here's a song, for example, that talks about it.
Catch me drinking only water, lest we get purple in the Sprite. Shout out to the First Amendment, get to spit cause it's my right. I can't trust a lot of people except the boys cause we stay tight.
I really wanted to dig deeper and see how other people thought about this topic, so I hopped on a call with the artist to talk about it. Now, unfortunately, it didn't record the audio, which I don't know why it didn't record the audio. It's really weird. It must have been a part of the screen recording thing. But basically, me and Adog talked about the First Amendment and what he thought about it. He thought it was such a great thing that the government would provide to us because some other countries don't provide that same amount of freedom to their citizens, but America does, which is why he thinks that it's such a great thing. And also, it really just shows how great America is, because in other countries, if you said something bad about something or you denied something that was happening in the world and you just thought it never happened, you could go to jail for that. But America, it's free speech, and you're able to challenge power to the government, which some governments won't even allow you to. And honestly, it improves society a lot. Because if you just had these thoughts in your head but you weren't allowed to speak them, imagine how numbing that would be on your brain and how important it is to let these thoughts out. So I think people should understand their free speech more and how important it is that you're able to say what you want without going to jail and without just, just doing all these things. And also, it's just the base of what America is. America was made for freedom, away from the British and all the other people. And that's what I think everybody shouldn't take for granted, because in other countries that would happen and you would go to jail. People have repeatedly protested over freedom of speech in the United States, including during the Civil Rights Movement, anti-Vietnam War protests, labor movements, and modern protests over censorship, showing that free speech rights have often had to be defended publicly when challenged. The legislative branch affects speech by passing laws that can protect expression or limit it, like laws on protest or time, place, manner rules. The executive branch enforces those laws and can influence speech through actions and policies, while the judicial branch interprets the First Amendment and decides what speech is protected by striking down unconstitutional laws. I feel like I take personal free speech for granted, because imagine if you lived in North Korea and Kim Jong-un was, the person at the highest level, and you said something bad about him. You and your whole family would get sentenced to decades of torture. But if you talk bad about the president here in the United States, you have nothing happen to you, which I think is a good thing. I feel like you should be able to say whatever you want about people. And, whether you're on one side or the other, it's just a great thing to have. There's one thing I want to speak on before I end this, and it's freedom of protest. Now, many people have gotten arrested for protesting. Now, some people might consider that rioting or something else, but I think if you get to be able to have freedom of speech, you should be able to protest freely and just have an innocent protest in front of what government place or whatever, and just, get your voice heard, because the government won't listen to you unless you speak really loud about it and it becomes a problem to them. So I really think that's how you use your freedom of speech wisely. So I think that's about it. Assembly too, that's a good thing. All around, it's a great thing that we need to have. and we should have, and I'm glad that we're having it.